Welcome back to the Only Amazing Race 25 recap podcast with the seal of approval, the UR Team Number Facebook Group's Amazing Race Recap podcast. My name is Michael Harmstone, and I am joined as ever by the one Canadian who is going to let Ben have an extra 3 hours in bed just so he could speed walk with old people and make horseshoes before Ben decides to abandon us, Logan Saunders.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenneth. Well, actually afternoon, isn't it?
Good afternoon, yeah. It's 3 p.m. here, it's 12 p.m. for you. It's morning for nobody for this podcast.
Yeah, I think this is the first time in a long while that we've actually done a podcast where neither of us, or nobody in the podcast, is actually doing it in the morning. I can't remember.
Has that ever happened?
No, this might actually be a first. First one where 3 p.m. is actually the earliest time that we are podcasting for anyone. Which is, a rarity.
Yeah, almost as rare as ratings for The Big Adventure.
Ooh, we're starting on The Big Adventure already. Mind you, it is Amazing Race Australia's rival. And, hopefully the reason that Amazing Race Australia will come back next year. That'd be nice.
Campaign for Season 4.
I'd be perfectly happy if it was Australia versus New Zealand again. Because the New Zealand casting team did a bloody good job. They might not have been good races.
They should just have Australia against some random country. Have Australia versus Indonesia or
Fiji.
Or Namibia. Australia versus Namibia.
Australia versus one team from each of the South Pacific islands that Survivor's been to. So you got Fiji, Samoa, Palau, more Samoa for some reason.
Joe and Irwin.
Yeah, just have the team of Palauan fishermen that Survivor historians love so much. And if you want to get in contact with us during the next hour, you can post comments on this video if you're watching on the YouTube channel. There's a Q&A on the Google Plus page, or you can get your pins in on the Facebook group, which is linked in the video description. Alternatively, tweet us using the hashtag Yakcast, which you can see whenever I speak. So, what do we think of this episode?
It was good.
I must say,
I enjoyed the whole Amazing Race 9 Return to Sicily.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best episode of the season for me. I enjoyed it a lot.
I really enjoyed the pacing of it more than anything else, and we got to know every team. Like, even Tim and TJ received airtime, because when they initially received airtime, I'm thinking, maybe it won't be a non-elimination. Like, maybe it'll just be an outright elimination of Tim and TJ. But no, apparently everybody on planet Earth wanted a non-elimination this week.
As you said on the Amazing Race 24/7 group, we actually all predicted it last week that it would be a non-elimination leg. Not that dragged anything down. It's one of the rare examples of a non-elimination leg actually not being as crap as it should be.
Whoa, what happened to the subtitle there? What happened to your name?
Oh, you mean me being called a shithead? Yeah. Mike Wall.
Yes. Could you elaborate upon that?
Do you not hear what happened on Amazing Race 24/7 yesterday?
A little bit.
Yeah, you know how Mike Wall's been slagging off the podcast because he's a knob? He posted a bitchy comment about how he hates that people keep spoiling it, despite the fact he's an admin and the rules are quite clear about it's fair game once it's aired. Yeah, I might have directly quoted the rule at him and he then blocked me from the group. and told me to F off, you shithead. Which was nice.
So you have your first view then?
Yeah, well, Eric added me straight back to the group, but... Yes. To use an Australian term from the great Hamish and Andy, he's the nemesis of the podcast. And a dick. So yeah, I'm a shithead now, apparently. Been called worse, let's be honest. So, previously, Shelley and Nisi and Amy and Maya fell behind. Kim and Ali and Adam and Bethany sung with the locals. Brooke is scared. Misty is awesome. Jim and Misty won the leg, and Shelley and Nisi were sadly eliminated. And teams must now fly to Palermo, Sicily, and find Teatro di Verdura to find their next clue.
The Buddha hands in the Amazing Race intro always throw me off each week, just because there's never been a shot like that in the intro before. Yeah. Where it's like, who just keeps rub face every time?
I'm wondering where that's going to come in, because we've got one more leg in Europe and then it's all Asia after that.
Yeah,
So
and we're pretty much at the end of the season after that.
yeah, we'll find out where it's from fairly soon, I think. But I know what you mean because it comes straight after Misty and Jim's intro, doesn't it? Like Misty and Jim grinning.
I believe so. Yeah, it's like maybe they're trying to feel out its teeth. I don't know. Did
I'm,
Buddha have really good sparkly teeth?
I'm ready for Misty and Jim to start losing again, so I can comment on which teams in Amazing Race history they can no longer beat. I mean, I like Misty and Jim, but
We're gonna be the most dominant team ever.
yeah, can't now beat Megan and Shane, or yeah, they're equal to Megan and Shane at the moment if they win every leg. I think something like that. It's 2 weeks since I've been able to slag them off for that comment, so I'm I'm not
Yeah.
up on how good they are. So Jim and Misty we found out, as you said, a lot about all the teams this week. We found out that Jim and Misty were together for 7 years before they married, and that Sicily's the first
Yeah,
place.
I did the math too on that.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I wrote down. They've been married 9 years, and they say they've been together for 16. There's quite the gap there.
I,
They really took their time.
yeah, if we were interviewing them, I would be asking them about that. Does Jim have a fear of commitment? Because 7 years is a long time. Obviously, we don't know how long between getting engaged and getting married it was, but still, it's a long old time.
The bodybuilding chips must have kept him away so much, and being in dental school.
Well, med school first when he was first in the class in suture, remember?
Right.
As we've learned before. Also, how well travelled is Kim from Kim and Ali?
Yeah,
We got
she
another
said
couple
that.
of
Oh, we're
hints.
finally going to a country I haven't been to.
And
So
also,
she's already been to the U.S. Virgin Islands, England, Scotland, and
and
Morocco,
Denmark.
and Sweden.
Well, we also saw her speaking pretty much perfect Italian as well this episode. Or at least a comfortable knowledge of Italian.
Well, she is from Brooklyn, if I recall correctly. I forget which borough it is. I want to say Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn.
They are team. Don't they have Brooklyn shirts?
The guy on the shirts, yeah. That's how I know it. Oh, that's the only
Yeah.
one I know.
So maybe that's where they picked up the Italian.
Well, we saw them speaking, or we saw Kim speaking very good French as well a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
So she's
All
very
that
well spoken.
cycling is finally paying off.
Yeah. Well, the French can be done with the Tour de France, can't it? So
Yeah.
for that matter, the Italians probably from the Giro d'Italia. See, it all works out eventually. Cycling races.
Yes, the best linguistics in the world. The best linguists in the world are cyclists.
Fact. Also, it's a good week for Brooke and Robbie in terms of general quotes, anyway. But just a great week. There was about 3 different quotes that I wrote down from Robbie just as they were leaving the pit stop.
Hmm.
Yes. I haven't thought about tweeting today.
They all wanted pizza or pasta.
Well, it's Italy. What do you expect? Maybe they just wanted to switch back to the Amazing Race 6 finale.
Oh, oh no.
I
Do
got
not bring up the Amazing Race 6 finale, whatever you do. That was the worst, probably other than maybe last season's finale or the design of the Amazing Race 16 finale. The Amazing Race 6 finale is probably the worst one they ever did. Eating a pizza was the final task. Eating a pizza.
the one positive I would give them for that final leg was that they didn't try and half-arse a memory challenge like Amazing Race 16 did. Because it does wind me up, as you well know. A bad memory task is worse than no memory task at all.
Hmm.
By a mile. Like,
I like the outcome of 16. I just didn't like how we got there in that final leg.
how much of a terrible memory challenge that was. There wasn't even any.
Yeah, it was a little bit on the easy side.
There wasn't even any fake posters, was there? It was 11 posters.
No, it was all correct ones.
Come on, guys. At least give them like 25 posters. Make it hard. And also, Robbie has lost half an ab, so he's down to 7.5. Which is another great quote from him.
He didn't bother proving that though.
No, that surprises me. Um,
It's what would that be about 80% of a situation?
yeah.
Ah
um,
yes, Team No Fun.
yes,
The description of the dentist, much like Team No Love from The Ultimate Fighter Season 4.
I was
Callback.
I was getting the feeling that there's probably going to be U-turn involved eventually between one of those teams U-turning another, because they were setting
You
up.
mean, I thought everyone was just gonna U-turn Amy and Maya eventually.
Well, Amy and Maya do have a terrible record so far. I mean, like abhorrently bad. Just get my stats up. I know you love a good stat. Yeah, Amy and Maya are currently languishing in 7th place for the season in terms of average, with 5.57.
So their third place finish probably was their best finish all season.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the best finish. Previously it was 4th. Before this leg, they were languishing on 6 as an average. 6. That's like absolutely terrible. I mean, if the season had finished with this leg, let's say, they would currently be in equal 370. No, sorry, equal 371st place of a total
Equal to
620 race. Uh, yeah, 620 teams of race. They would be in 371st.
who are they tied with?
No one. I didn't mean to say equal. I was trying to stop myself saying equal.
Oh,
Yeah, currently, if they get in 6th, they will be equal 371st with one from Norway.
oh,
Because
I
of
see.
stats.
Were you surprised that Jim and
Go on.
Misty had that big of a lead starting out the leg? I didn't know that they won the previous round by nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that they kicked backside in that leg. It wasn't even
Yeah,
close.
I'm not used. Yeah, this is like the third time where they've started out a leg with like a gigantic lead, but in other legs we've seen them finish either in last or right next to last. So they never have much middle ground for them whenever they perform in any given leg. We don't really see that with too many teams.
They're basically a schizophrenic team. Let's be honest. They're either
Yeah,
first
the
or
most extreme case I can think of is with those teams in the early seasons that would finish first on the first leg of the season, then would be out in the second leg, like Allison and Donnie or
Amanda
Amanda and
Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, I watched their elimination leg before the podcast today. as, as I
Oh
know,
yeah,
as I know, I've
weren't they
mentioned
more
in
memorable than Chris and John?
yeah, as I
Or
know, as I know, I've mentioned in the Facebook chat, I am slowly working my way through the 4 seasons I've not seen. I've now finished Amazing Race 2, working on Amazing Race 4 at the moment, and then it's just
just be careful. David and Jeff are breakout characters.
and then it's just 1 and 8. Yeah, I get the feeling that David and Jeff are just going to be bland after 2 episodes.
The one guy looks like Rick Campanelli from Much Music here in Canada.
I've been past
You
that.
probably will not get that reference.
I've been past Much Music's studios, but other than that, I know nothing. So once teams landed in Sicily, we got a great shot of Robbie in a neck pillow for some reason. That was one of the first things we saw.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Do you think Jim and Misty were able to end up on the same flight with everybody else because they didn't do research in a library this time? I was waiting for it to be a redux of the of the flight to Denmark where they just end up on a later flight because they decide to go with the public library rather than the travel agency or the airport like everyone else did.
To be fair, as I know I mentioned in that leg, going to a library is not necessarily a bad thing in the grand scheme of things in such a isolated place as Shetland Islands.
True. I
Because
just want to see if they would make the same obscure mistake twice that we've never seen before.
they do tend to have free Wi-Fi, if nothing else. So
Street pass.
yeah, Street Pass. I've not got my Street Pass left on. Damn, I've got my 3DS next to me because I was playing Smash Bros. Again. But I've not got my Street Pass, sadly. It's a shame you can't Street Pass over the internet properly. So once teams...
Did you notice how... Oh,
go on.
Did you notice how the cyclist almost set up a Borat-like description of the dentist there? Saying that they love the dentist and then just had a pause and then say, not, in a very Borat-like manner.
At least they didn't describe Jim or Misty as the third best prostitute in all of Kazakhstan. It was nice.
If only. If only.
It's nice. So once teams reach the theatre, they find out they are spending the night there and that they have to go to... Or they have to pick a departure time. Another classic Amazing Race appearance, this. Picking a departure time, either 6:30, 6:40 or 6:50. Sadly, they weren't hidden all around the theatre like they used to be, but, swings and roundabouts.
Do you notice that they really overdid it with the Godfather theme music all throughout this episode?
I
was just waiting for Vito Corleone or something. It was very Godfather 2-ish.
I'm so disappointed we didn't get a task in a similar vein to the Israel visit to Las Vegas where they buried someone alive for like half an hour.
Or if they just set a task where they go and pick up cannoli, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I'll just do any Grand Theft Auto reference physically possible.
Yes. Or, do you notice that teams, when walking into the route marker there, and essentially that they grabbed a tambourine, I wanted the wrestlers to say that it was a maraca so much.
Yeah, but I forgot how their stupid musical knowledge. For the record, the Las Vegas...
Is it above or below 5 concussions that each of them have suffered?
Oh, easily above. For the record, the Las Vegas task from Israel was one team member had to be buried alive in a wooden crate, simulating the actions of the American mafia, and had to remain buried for 10 minutes without panicking.
That sounds like something on Fear Factor.
Yeah, it really does. Talking of Fear Factor, we are endorsed by Alan Wu.
Yes.
Yes.
Were you expecting Jason Alexander to be at the Villa Constanza?
No, I was not.
Seinfeld reference.
Jim, Misty, and Kim and Ellie got the 6:30 departures. Brooke and Robbie and Amy and Maya at 6:40, and Adam and Bethany and Tim and TJ at 6:50. And as Logan mentioned, teams must now make their way to Villa Costanza to find their next clue, which is the roadblock. And it was riding a go-kart up a mountain route in 4 minutes and 7 seconds or less to receive their next clue, and a ride to the next route marker in a classic car.
It's a time trial.
It is. And this actually looks really, really fun.
Yeah, considering there's the poster to your right there, and in your room there. Mario Kart, or in this case, Tario Kart.
Yes. Tario Kart 8, wahoo!
I don't know if they're... Hopefully they don't charge us with downloadable content, though. I don't know if there's going to be a special Survivor go-kart leg or a Big Brother themed go-kart leg. I don't know, but
yeah. Let's put this perfectly honestly. Whatever DLC Mario Kart 8 release, I'm probably gonna buy. They're giving me Link.
I already have.
So have I. They're giving me Link in 4 days, as well as
yes, and minutes and all. Rupees for everybody.
Yeah. Have you seen Hyrule Circuit? Oh,
Yeah, I've seen a couple minutes. Yeah.
On the subject of riding go-karts, have you seen the leaked videos from Smash U of the Palutena conversation with Pit yet? From
No, I have not.
Base. Well, one of Pit's taunts in Smash U is apparently having a conversation with Palutena and Viridi from Kid Icarus Uprising, and when he faces Bowser, Pit says something along the lines of, I always imagine Bowser hiding away in his castle, preparing to kidnap someone again," and Viridi just pipes up and goes, "Or playing golf, or riding a go-kart." It just makes me chuckle every time I see it. They're really, really passive aggressive. It's quite fun. So it's Jim, Kim, Maya, Adam, TJ, and Brooke doing the roadblock, and the roadblock heats run every 20 minutes approximately. I think the basic idea of this task was drive it as fast as you physically can. Because if you're heavy like Jim,
what seemed to be the real struggle was finding a taxi to get there.
Well, yeah. But if you're heavy like Jim...
40 minutes? 40 minutes?
Well, yeah, the Mafia have probably taken out half of the taxi drivers. Let's be honest. Sicily still has a very strong Mafia presence. I know. I have been to Sicily. We're getting towards the part of the season where I've not been to places before. Sicily I have been to, Malta I haven't. Actually,
you and the Amazing Race.
I think there's only
Malta and Europe.
Yeah, I think there's only one more location this season that I have been to, which is LA. Everything else is, new to me now, sadly. So Jim is the first to leave the roadblock, clearing the task with 7 seconds to spare, and Kim does the same with 5 seconds to spare. And Maya...
Only she had a blue shell.
Yeah. I think I should mock up a picture of Kim racing with a blue shell in her hand or something.
Mm-hmm. I was going to do a Photoshop of Tario car.
We've got a week to sort it out. Well, actually, we've got 2 weeks, haven't we? Because there's no race this week.
Yeah, we got to do something to pass the time.
Yeah. Let's just do ridiculous Photoshops to try and get people annoyed at us. And Maya is the only person to fail with a quite impressive time of 4 minutes 32 seconds. She must have the break. That was a proper wah 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 moment.
Yeah, maybe she listened to Curtis blows the brakes too much, and that's why she just slowed down so much.
Probably. And Brooke was the MVP of the task with 20 seconds to spare. That is ridiculous. 20?
Does that mean she's safe for 3 weeks in a row as the MVP?
Oh, it should be. Yeah. Yes. What would you do if you were actually on BB Can, or when you're on BB Can, describing yourself as a social media mogul, and you've got Canada's MVP?
I would be a social media mogul, except I would hold up the mogul from Final Fantasy. Oh, that's a Moogle.
If you do get on Big Brother Canada 3, I want you to describe yourself as a social media mogul. Because it is possibly the only bit of Big Brother 16 that I actually enjoyed was Frankie Grande's Delusion. I literally have more Instagram...
And the rest of it was pretty boring.
Well, yeah. Big Brother 17 needs to be amazeballs. Maya cleared it on her second.
Do you think that Maya?
Sorry, go on.
Do you think that Maya was so slow on the first attempt because she was just driving by herself?
Probably. Well, she wouldn't have had a pace, would she?
No, it's just whatever she thought she could do.
Whereas there was 4 people all racing at the same time there, so she had to put her foot down to try and beat people.
I'm surprised they didn't make Linda Weaver do this task again.
I'm gonna get again, Logan.
That was the very first thing I wrote was when it was all 4 of them, thinking they should because like in Amazing Race Family Edition, we know the story there where they did the one party bike thing at the one course, and then they made her do 50 laps of a go-kart in another place. But here they should have made her do like 3 laps around Sicily there. Just that would have just been cruel and mean, and that would have been something that producers would have done, though, just like they've done there before.
To quote comments that I have received in the past 8 months of podcasting, Logan, you're so mean. You couldn't do any better.
I have never gone go-karting, surprisingly, outside of the Mario Kart realm. I would like to go go-karting.
No,
go-karting?
Tario.
Hey! That's our favorite family. Hey! Why are they up?
It's an appearance by our favourite family, because we mentioned Family Edition, and everyone loves the Black family.
Mm-hmm.
When Phil was racist.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the last
there were so many offensive things in Family Edition.
Like the premise, the lack of travel, Linda Weaver just riding around, having to do go-kart tasks.
And preaching the gospel in the process.
Well, yeah. She got to preach to heathens in Toronto. Ish. So once teams reunite with their partners at Antico Stabilimento Balneare, they can open the detail clue, which is painters or posers. And I knew exactly which one I would have picked.
Where's Courtney and Moret from Survivor Exile Island?
Probably in Bruce's garden still. Rearranging it to say the word love. And it's painters or posers. I knew exactly which one I would have picked. In painters, teams must complete a fresco by climbing the stairs of a church and lying on scaffolding about 6 inches from the roof. Once the artist is satisfied with their effort, teams receive their next clue, and only 4 teams would be able to pick this option. And in posers, teams will watch a short presentation by 10 different operatic characters, and then head into a back room to match the outfits and names of the characters they saw to mock up of the stage. Once they have all 10 correct, they receive their next clue. No question.
It was either receiving a clue from a 4-eyed priest or a costumista. Costumista?
Costumista.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I have no artistic ability, so I would have gone straight for posers. Not even a choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, without Talyuar, there's no way that would have been comfortable at all doing that fresco.
Well, exactly. As you well know, I'm 6'5", and left-handed as well, which also wouldn't be very helpful. This would be Kim and Ali bumping arms.
Unless you were on the one side of the table against somebody who draws with their right arm, then it would be helpful.
Well, if I was ever on Amazing Race, I would pick between 2 partners, one of whom is right-handed, one of whom is left-handed. But I wouldn't do the artistic challenge anyway, so
yeah,
I'd be just like, you guys do it.
Or be like John Vito and Jill, where one of you complains because they can't wink with left eye.
Yeah, at least John Vito and Jill.
And then they end up winking with the eye that's opposite of the hand needed to fire off the little gun there.
Yeah, at least John Vito and Jill had the advantage of being able to pick who did the robot, regardless of the limits or anything.
Yep, the good old days where if there was co-ed teams, the male member would do 10 out of 11 roadblocks, and nobody really complained about it.
Yeah, Flo. Your win is invalid. Maybe.
Flo, Christy, Nicole, Kim.
So, we had another great exchange at the painters detail between Jim and Misty and Kim and Ali. I think you probably know which one I'm going to talk about.
Yes. Please elaborate.
She doesn't sweat much, Jim said about Misty. She glistens. We sparkle. What?
Yes, I think that Misty is the only one who doesn't sweat out of all 4 of them because of the Botox injections into her sweat glands. That's why she doesn't sweat.
God, I probably need that. I sweat. So,
I think Gus needs that.
yeah, I'm not as bad as Gus at least, if nothing else. And we actually
Or Marty and Marcio. Oh, that was a duo that could really work up a sweat.
had a reference to the Express Pass finally. After,
Maybe it'll be used next leg then? That's the only thing I could really infer from it.
well, I can't remember when it's got to be used by. It's in the next 2 legs though, because it's never been later than like 9, ever.
When does the save expire?
Save it's 9, definitely.
Oh, okay. Then I think the Express Pass expired one leg before the save.
So it's 8 then. So it has to be used the next leg.
Yeah, it will probably be used the next leg for sure then.
Well, can you just
What
looking
if
at the preview?
what
Can
if
you
they
imagine
use the
Bethany?
Express Pass and the Pass Forward?
I think, although it's never happened, I think the rule is that you get a penalty at the pit stop if you do that. I think it was a 4-hour penalty was the rumor. I don't know how people know this, but apparently it's if you go for a fast forward and then use the express pass, it's a 4-hour penalty served at the pit stop.
That's a very weird rule.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all sorts of franchises in the Amazing Race have their own time penalty rules. Like there was one in Australia that, thanks to an intersection that required teams to team up cutting logs. If neither person in your pair managed to cut a piece off the log before you quit the task as a pair of teams, then you got an hour penalty. Otherwise, it was half an hour.
It'd be like if you had Billy and Carissa Gagan on your team trying to cut the logs there. I remember that quite vividly because no one, it's the Mama Gagan and Papa Gagan pretty much had to do all the work there.
Yeah.
Billy with a saw could have been lethal, come to think of it.
And Amy and Maya are the only team to lose the foot race to painters and have to join Brooke and Robbie at posers. And the painting judge is my favourite type of judge, the really passive-aggressive ones. Like, really passive-aggressive. Sort of entertainingly.
Did you notice that the foot race was like the least safest foot race ever? It seemed so dangerous to be running through those little windy, narrow hallways there to get up onto a piece of scaffold. That seemed like that somebody could have gotten seriously hurt.
Yeah. I would have, well, I would have picked posers anyway, but I would have seen the foot race and just gone, no, I'm not risking it. I'm going to break my leg or something. So, we have Jim and Misty leaving painters in first with Kim and Ali in second, and Amy and Maya and Brooke and Robbie leaving posers together in third, and then Adam and Bethany and Tim and TJ leaving painters in fifth and sixth respectively. And teams will now head to the pit stop, Villainissimi, with the last team to check in may be eliminated. And of course, this is the 300th leg of the Amazing Race. Ish.
Pit stop already?
Yeah.
As Tim and TJ would say.
Yeah, it actually came quite late into the leg, looking at it. Or into the episode run.
Yeah,
Out
for sure. That's what I was commenting on too. I'm thinking, whoa, there's only like 5 minutes left when the last 4 teams are all heading to the pit stop. I think it was closer to 4 minutes actually, because it was its own little segment at the very.
Yeah, I think out of 42 minutes of running time, it was about 35 before we got to the pit stop for any teams jets into the pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ridiculous.
Do you notice how we had 2 pairs of this going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite an odd leg, really, for this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yet again, Jim and Misty check into the...
We had cyclists pairing up with dentists to have their own super alliance.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Lag again.
Yeah, an intersection again. Basically bringing back the intersection. Although 6 is the usual place where they do bring back intersections, so maybe in Malta. And Jim and Misty are the ones to check in, and they win a trip to Jamaica and get to be crowned the 300 leg winners, despite the fact it's not a leg. Or not 300.
300th.
Yeah, 304th, you said, wasn't it?
Yes, it's 304. I did the math. It's definitely not 300, no matter how you slice it. Weird little double length leg rules or virtual pit stops. It's 304.
Ironically, that would mean that Jim and Misty were the 300 leg winners anyway, because they won in Scotland.
Nothing changes.
Exactly.
They get to win the 300th leg twice.
Yeah. And Kim and Ali Shocker are in second and want to break Jim and Misty's kneecaps, which is nice for them.
As opposed to sucking kneecaps.
Exactly. And Amy and Maya get their best finish in third, Brooke and Robbie in fourth, fifth was Adam and Bethany.
We shouldn't have let them go first.
And Tim and TJ were saved from elimination in sixth, which is nice for them.
Wasn't the writing on the wall Amy and Maya, though?
Yeah, I mean, Amy and Maya, I know we're giving them we're pegging them as probably winners, given their ridiculous edit despite how poorly they are doing. Yeah, I thought they'd probably get non-eliminated. Given how they were teaming up with Brooke and Robbie, and Brooke and Robbie don't really have a history of being at the top of the pack. Let's be honest.
Right. I'm surprised how reluctant Brooke was in being able to team up with Amy and Maya there, and also just how much both of them were angry that they let Amy and Maya get a 2-second head start leaving the place.
Yeah, I mean, Brooke and Robbie probably would be able to outrun them if they had a chance. But
I would hope I would be able to outrun somebody whose major is ice cream or the composition of ice cream.
Yeah, true. But they have been holding on slowly. And, are probably going to win. So, in the overall season rankings, Jim and Misty are obviously number 1. Kim and Ali are number 2, Adam and Bethany number 3, Tim and TJ in 4, Brooke and Robbie in 5, Keith and They Discuss Me in 6th, and Amy and Maya in 7th. And
I think Tim and TJ are dead no matter what next round.
Oh, so do I, because, I mean, Jim and Misty's speed bump was actually pretty good. Pretty difficult. So they're hopefully going to give them a difficult speed bump again. And that will probably kill them, I suspect. Because I know we all guessed it last week that they would probably go out. And I think we're sticking to that.
Mm-hmm. Just based on their edit, too.
Yeah. They're just getting a pretty much non-existent edit. I think we're all sure that, well, we're pretty sure, given the preview, that Jim and Misty survived till Final 4. We're probably pretty sure Kim and Ali are going to survive again. Pretty sure that Amy and Maya are probably going to win. Brooke and Robbie are almost certainly going to be safe because they're getting a dumbass edit. So that sadly leaves Tim and TJ, especially with Adam and Bethany having the Express Pass, which basically means they shouldn't get eliminated if they use it.
Winner's Edit versus Express Pass versus the save. And having a speed bump, things aren't looking too good for Tim and TJ right now.
No, and I mean, the fact that the save is still in play means that legs 8 and 9 are going to be elimination, unless Jim and Misty fall into last. In which case, every leg after that will then be an elimination.
That save is really going to be irrelevant this season by the looks of it.
I assume the save will probably come back for 26, which is now confirmed, yay! But they should make some changes to it, hopefully. All they've got to do is make it so you've got to play it before Phil tells you your placement, and that if it's an elimination leg, you can't get it back.
Yeah. You're playing your hidden immunity idol. Okay, here it is. You can have it back. Yeah. Only Russell gets that treatment.
Exactly. because he's the best player of all time.
I'm Jim and Misty Hance.
I don't think we can ever compare Jim and Misty to the Hants.
Not yet, anyway. Unless they get like super bitter about their loss in post-race interviews and insist the game is broken when they had one of the most game-breaking twists ever work in their favor.
Of all time. I hope we get another public start line, actually.
It'd be funny if it was a private start line, but a public finish line. So it's like the reverse order of how you want to deliver your spoilers.
Yeah, I kind of like that we had a public start line.
Well, it gets the fans into it and promotes the show for several months before it even starts airing, because there'll be word of mouth spreading with all the different things that would be leaked out for the first round and all the different racers that can take part and make it into a big local event.
And fact of the matter is, they are probably not going to. They're probably going to realise that RFF are going to be following them either way, so they might as well just give in and give them help.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well just identify the teams. So, I think we're about done with the leg, don't you?
I believe so. I can't remember if I have any other stupid puns here. I just said that Adam was boring and apparently Brooke is described as a weasel, which I never really thought of before because of the way she weaseled her way to the front of the pack there in go-karting.
Yeah, I do think.
Yeah, I wonder if TJ is pretty bad at Mario Kart, because he lost that 4-way race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you go for Yoshi straight away. Yoshi with the egg one and awesome wheels. Basic Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonder if the race their own amiibos by the end of the season.
that would be fun, but also really don't want that because I'm resisting the urge at the moment to spend money on amiibos just for costumes.
The Jim and Misty amiibo, the most dominant amiibos of all time.
No, obviously, if it was a Jim and Misty amiibo, it would just be Jim's death stare. No question about what it would be.
Yeah.
It would just be Jim doing this all the time.
Yeah. Or with Kim, you would really want to choose a motorbike for her, and she would be doing.
Oh, I'm so excited to play the Mario Kart 8 DLC this week. It's going to be so much fun. Just Hyrule Circuit being playable online.
Apparently that one driver was supposed to be a car legend, but I don't know who that was at all.
No, I have no idea. And also, I didn't even get to Brooke's amazing face when she was being driven down the mountain. Which, spoiler alert, is our banner for the week. Brooke's face will.
Yeah, apparently that guy. Oh, he's even doing the old man pose by stooping over when he's driving too. That's sick. But yeah, it's a bit weird to see. You would think it was supposed to be a fixed time for them to be down the mountain, but really it was much like just getting a bad taxi driver. So I think they all the drivers that drove the teams down the mountain after the little race there all should have had a predetermined amount of speed to drive down it, so that nothing gets affected that way due to the tax.
I mean, Brooke dropped from 3rd to 6th purely because of her old driver.
It's a very Bill Cosby face she is making.
Hence why it's going to be our banner for the week, because as soon as I saw that, as soon as I watched that, I was just like, that's our banner. There's no question. Also, I'm counting down until I can use the Amy picture of her being tortured at the cup massage, which is still making me laugh.
Is Sicily in Italy?
Yes.
Did Brooke and Robbie ever figure that one out, you think?
I'm not sure.
I like how they still state it with the Bethany-like inflection, because they weren't sure if Sicily was in Italy. It was just their most reasonable guess that they could come up with. but couldn't say it with any sort of certainty.
Is Sicily in Italy? Without Ben here, we're not doing many Bethany impressions.
Well, Ben's sort of the Bethany impressions. I always feel like I'm infringing upon copyright by doing his little patented impressions there.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be back in 2 weeks' time when we are. So, next time, which is what, 2 weeks? So the 21st-ish? 21st, yeah. Teams fly to Valletta in Malta. They have to serve drinks, rappel, and climb masts to retrieve flags on the way to not getting eliminated, because this next leg will be an elimination leg, guaranteed. Unless, Jim and Misty come in last. Which could happen.
I, for one, like right now that the teams are resting at the Buscemi pit stop, and the team that's currently in first is the team with the Steve Buscemi eyes.
Exactly. Or the John Rocker pass, as we all know it.
Yes. And who was Maurice the chef anyway? That was their prize. And they said, oh, and you get a meal cooked by Chef Maurice. Who is Chef Maurice?
I forgot how ridiculous that was. Yeah.
Like, is that bad? I mean, if you said like Wolfgang Puck, I would know who that is. But it's just Maurice. Like, I don't know what to expect with Maurice. Be funny if it was a really crappy meal.
I think
food poisoning.
Yeah, I think
food poisoning for the dentist.
The best additional prize in the holiday since breakfast since breakfast included.
Yeah, breakfast in bed by Maurice.
It wasn't. I don't think he was in breakfast in bed. I think it was just breakfast. And breakfast is included. You stay classy, Amazing Race All Stars. Oh, Amazing Race All Stars? To quote Bethany.
All Stars.
I think whenever we reference Amazing Race All Stars, we should now do it in a Bethany accent. So it's Amazing Race All Stars? With a sort of.
Yeah, as if did it happen? Is it an All Star?
Yeah, I don't know why they're calling this Amazing Race 25 when it's blatantly Amazing Race 24. There was no Amazing Race 24.
Yes.
Ever.
And it was all an illusion.
It was.
Dave's Achilles is still broken. It never healed.
This is not the season you're looking for.
Yes. Tim and TJ, they deserve to be punched in the face because they're trying to erase the legacy of Trammell and Talisha. They brought up that they are Team TNT. I think their fuse is quite long because we haven't seen them really blow up that much, so their fuse is not short as they tried to claim. And they said if the dentist can do it, we can do it. But the dentists have a save, so there is zero pressure, while Tim and TJ do not have a save, so all the pressure is on them to perform.
Also, they filmed their intro shot around the corner from a former Amazing Race start line. Fact.
Oh, they did? I didn't even notice.
In Pasadena, or Pasadena.
Pasadena?
Yeah, you know when... No, Pasadena was just a running joke when me and my brother were in California last year about our tour, because we went on a 12-day tour. Our tour guide was a bit crap, and he kept mispronouncing places, and we knew we were going to go to Pasadena because the City Hall, which actually appears behind Tim and TJ, is the outside location of Parks and Rec's Pawnee City Hall. But we still miss you, Lil Sebastian. And we actually went there and then went to the Colorado Street Bridge, which it was the start line of Amazing Race 21, where they rappelled off it, and that is right around the corner from Pasadena City Hall.
I see. Fun fact.
Fun fact. Goodbye, Lil Sebastian. So.
What is that?
That is Lil Sebastian.
Oh. I see.
Which I'm assuming you've never seen, so you've never lived.
I feel like it's been a few years since I've seen Parks and Recreation. I saw the first 3 seasons. Yeah. Is that the random... That's the horse, right?
Yes, that's the miniature horse who, spoilers, has the funeral at the end of season 3
Oh, okay, okay.
with
I
5,000
think that
candles in the
sounds
wind.
familiar now.
Bye bye, little Sebastian. We miss you in the satisfaction. Bye bye, little Sebastian. Your 5,000 candles in the wind.
Hmm.
One of the best season finales of any comedy ever. I'm such a nerd. So, thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, so the 23rd of November, at the brand new time of 8 p.m. GMT. We are going to attempt it again. Hopefully, somebody will not screw it up this week, which is 12 midday on the Pacific and 7 a.m. EST for the next Amazing Race Recap podcast brought to you by the Your Team Number Facebook group. Don't forget to leave your comments down below and please like the video so we can rise up the rankings and I can stop sounding horrendously needy. And you can hit all of us up on Twitter. If you search Yet and Cash, you should find us. See you in 2 weeks.
So long.
Even little Sebastian's waving.